Good evening, everybody. Another Monday night. We're live on Bees all day. Beautiful day today here in the valley. Wouldn't trade it for anything. I believe I did see it in the 60s. So, evening, everybody. We got Jonathan, we got Dennis, we got Mike, uh, Randy from Klingman. He's here. So we're starting off a little slow tonight. There's Ben. There's Roy. Did the trucking company call you, Roy? They should have delivered by now. The Odd House, yeah. Good to see you're in here tonight. So how's everybody doing? Did you have a good weekend? Did anybody get into the bees this weekend? Hey, Danny. All right, Roy, I'll call him tomorrow and see if I can figure out what's going on with him. So we were in bees yesterday and everybody looks healthy. Everybody's growing, getting ready for spring. So frost this morning. Hey, Darren, good to see you in here tonight. Peabody, good to see you too. Getting warmer, so are we. We were in the 60s today, so I'm glad to see that. So it's been a good day here in the valley. I was supposed to have 2 videos drop yesterday and they didn't drop, so I guess they'll drop sometime this week. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. They're kind of on a delay from StreamYard. I'll have to figure that one out. I saw that. I saw that order today, Jonathan. Yep, they're here. They'll be going out probably Thursday morning through UPS. So and I do appreciate the business, Jonathan. I really do. They do like those bee bites, by the way. They've been eating them up. I put some in and they've really gone after them. So hello from Colorado. How y'all doing out there? Jen and Brian from Flower Street. Glad you're in here tonight. Deep triples for 104 of them. Shipping is for me is $110. Hold on, I'll give you the price. That's 2 cases, by the way. It's 125.40 a case. So it'd be 250.80 plus shipping. Hey DC. Hey Denny. Pete. Sean. Hello, Mr. Lee. How are you this evening? Dean. We're building the crowd back up. Hey, Ripple. DC, how are your bees doing? You get in them over the weekend? So how's everybody's weather? How's everybody's bees? Did everybody get in bees over the weekend? They want to talk about it? I know we had Saturday was really busy for us. So this Chris Combs, the subject for tonight. Well, let's see what everybody wants to talk about. It got rained on all day yesterday, last night, cleared. Yeah. 14 of 16 made it so far. That's great. How'd they fall over backwards, Sean? One leg broke. Built last year and one leg broke. Oh no. Did you lose any of them? Did you lose any of them, Sean? Yeah, we're going to talk about the live ones, DC. Definitely going to talk about live bees. Okay. So everybody knows that spring is coming. Has anybody started seeing drones yet? We did not see any the other day. Hey, Dave. First year, 3 decks, double deeps got mold on wood frames. What do you do? That's condensation that's causing that mold. Um, Next winter, you can put a quilt box or shavings on them or something like that. Um, Mold comes from too much ventilation and allowing moisture to get in sometimes, or it could be not enough circulation in the winter. They're sealed up too tight. It could be one of those two things. So, Chris, I'm glad to hear your bees are doing well. That's good. So, spring's coming, and everybody knows that you lose bees from between middle of February to the end of March. Stone River bees, 60 in here in Dinwiddie today. So good to see you on here, Stone River. Clay, how are you? Um, Spring's coming. Everybody knows you lose bees between the middle of February and the end of March. So you need to keep an eye on them. You need to make sure they got feed. You need to make sure that they got either feed or stores, and make sure that they have enough to get through the rest of this month. And probably the first couple of weeks of April, the way the extended forecasts look. So it's going to be kind of touchy the first couple of weeks of April as well. The first week of April, they're calling for snow 3 days out of that week. So we need to make sure that we watch the weather and take care of our bees, especially here on the East Coast. That's what I'm seeing here on the East Coast. And not seeing any drones, which is not good right now, especially since I was getting ready to have a queen rearing class the 12th and 13th of April. So that's going to get pushed back 2 weeks. So that's going to get pushed back to pull my calendar up here. That's getting pushed back to the 26th and 27th of April. So I'll make that announcement again here in a little while after we get some more people in here that are supposed to be coming. I think Darren's already in here. So yeah, that announcement will get made again. So, James, how are your bees doing? Oh, 4 to 6 frames of brood and drones in most. That's good, Hope. That's real good. Started some drone comb. That's good too. Bad. How come they're doing bad, James? Sugar stores the nastier. Yeah, it's going to be chilly out here at night. It's going to be nice during the day, but it's going to be chilly here at night, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. So we into this month, first part of April, we need to be checking for swarm cells too, making sure that we're not going to have bees swarming. So, and if they are, well, we're going to have to take our chances doing splits. So it's not going to be pretty if we do splits too early this year. So, well, James, I hope the other one makes it. So, Clay, how about you? What are yours up to? Y'all don't have to be bashful. You can come on screen. +30 drones. Well, that's pretty good. I'm glad you could count to 30+ drones. So, hey, Mike, how are you this evening? Overwintered. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. You got overwintered drones. All right. Lots of rain, cold weather today. Mid 70s for the next week. That's good. It's good that you got drones in there. Hey, Gary, how are you today? Hello, Nancy. Come on in here, Nancy. Let's get things going. There's Charlie. How are you this evening, Charlie?
All right, I guess. I see my updates that I did. It screwed everything up.
Uh huh.
I had the computer guy come over the weekend, and I didn't know that you could actually update your Chrome browser or Google browser or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
And he showed me where to do all that. Hey, Denny. So, anyway, maybe in the meantime, I'll try to download some of my background.
There you go.
So did we move more bees over the weekend?
Nope, we didn't move any more bees. I was in bees, fed bees all the bee bites were gone. All the apis bars were gone. Bees are looking better. They're looking stronger. There's more bees in every hive.
Now,
So I know I got
what are
brood.
apis bars, you say?
Yeah, those fondant bars with the apis in them.
Okay. Hey, Bob.
Yep, that's right, Chris. It is strange. It really is. Hey Bob, how are you?
So, anyway, we just my big thing right now is trying to get over this time change crap.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been rough on me too. It's been rough around here.
Hey, Denny and Clay and Mike.
Yeah.
Pete.
Joel's in here too.
Hey, Sean. Sean, he's from up in Michigan, I believe it is.
Yep.
And let's see something here.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're sick, Nancy.
What? Which?
Well, you got the flu or just don't feel good? Dave Curtis, Central Minnesota. I don't see why not, Dave. They should be doing something. Spring's coming. Kenneth Darton grafted. He's in South Carolina. He grafted for the first time yesterday. How many cells did you graft, Kenneth? $11 double deep dead outs. Lots of stores in the comb. No bees to clean them out. So there were no bees in the hive left at all. They absconded. What? Or they just? What were you seeing? Five cases of jars for creamed honey. Cool. 150 more jars. You can come in here if you want to, Bob. Come on in. Hey, Matt from Sandy Valley. There's your background back, Charlie. Now
I'll put that in. Hey, Ryan.
Now all you gotta do is get your camera to focus real good.
Yeah, that's what I hate about doing updates.
Yeah, I know.
It,
one absconded, the rest are just dead. Okay. So earlier I made an announcement, Charlie, that he's gone. He's fogging up the lens. Yeah, you're right. DC is. He's back. That's better. A little bit.
now I got to log in. I guess I have to log into the StreamYard. I don't know. It's a screwed up a mess. We'll worry about it later. I'll try. I didn't know I had to do all that garbage, but that's the problem.
Yeah. So did you get your bees this weekend, Charlie?
I went out there and I looked at them Sunday. Just looked in, and they pretty much went all the feet. Let me see if I can get this. And pretty much all the pollen pallies are gone except for a couple hives. And most of the sugar bricks were gone, except for like there was one that I put on a week or so ago, a couple new bricks, and they didn't really take them. So I was talking to Ryan there. He's down about 2 hours south of me in Southern Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and Peabody. So his highs were quite dry as far as single brood chamber, just deeps.
Yep.
So he's putting some AP23 on there that he had, which I found out I didn't know it. I thought they were sugar patties, but they're actually fondant patties.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And with some pollen in them. So he's putting them on there, and then he was talking to me on the phone about the larvae is not real juicy, and lots of liquid jelly, I say. And I said, well, the flow ain't coming in, yet, and you
Yep.
won't have that. And so he's going to try to get some sugar water on them here in next few days. So I got to looking at his videos and watching him and what he was talking about. And this week's, average 65 degrees every day. There's a big kitten cat. Where's Bubba at, Bill?
Oh, he's in the other room asleep.
So I went ahead and after work, I got the forklift and I had a bottling bucket, with the
Yeah.
cord on the bottom, and what I use for my Pro Suite. And I have, I don't know, 30 gallons of Pro Suite, maybe 40 gallons in the tote. So at the end of my row of hives there next to the barn, I got a two big 12 sitting there where I bring that tote out and stick it right on there, and then I can put a bucket underneath there and feed or
Yep.
refill my little buckets, out of the tote. So hey Sandy,
Hey,
and
Sandy.
Brian, hey Matt, and DC, Dodd, and Nancy too. And then I didn't say hi, but so I got that out there, took my bucket out there, and I decided I was looking at them like that first hive, it had completely ate everything. There wasn't nothing left in that first 10 frame hive. It's a purple hive in that video. And so I decided, since this is a really nice week of weather, I went ahead and put a juice jar, as I call it, or a quart jar of Pro Sweet on each one of them. And I got most of them with that on there. There's still 3 or 4 more hives I got to put that on. And then if there was any sugar bricks that were kind of left over, I reallocated them. I had some nukes that were kind of in the top box. They have plenty of food. I went ahead and just threw the sugar bricks in on that to give them any extras that if they need anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I did pull a frame or two here and there just to kind of see. And I pulled one up that it got brood in it, capped, and eggs. And I did see happened to be the queen was on it, and I eased that back down in there. And there's other ones that didn't really show a whole lot. They were more, I guess the queen's more down in the bottom. And I just went ahead and took my shims off, and pretty much everything was gone anyway. And they were starting to build burr comb up to the lid.
Mm-hmm.
About 2-3 inches, deep,
Yep.
tall, like they're wanting to build wax for sure. So I went ahead and put the inner covers back on, and they have like a little rim around them that I put on them. So if there was any fondant left, or not fondant, but some real thin pieces of sugar brick or maybe a little scrap of pollen patty. There was only a few hives that had that left. The rest of them were completely gone.
Yeah.
Clean the paper out of the hives. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah.
And so I put it on there full. I mean the Pro Suite full thickness, instead of cutting it. And I figured that's good enough for a week at least.
Yeah. How about yours, Darren? How are they doing?
Mine are doing pretty good, I think. Seem to be off to a good start.
That's good.
Yeah, I did an OA treatment yesterday, so that was my first one since November. Since I couldn't get to it, I got pretty much all winter, so I got planted. It just got so cold, like right around January 15th, it got cold, like dropped way down, like 20 degrees or below for most days. Just, that wasn't until like a couple weeks ago that kind of warmed up.
Yeah.
So, but I lost 3 hives. So, one hive I lost, it was in a bottom box, a really nice colony, just a real nice cluster, but it couldn't move up. I think the timing was bad. Like it was just the cold weather must have just set in and the bees just couldn't move up because that top box was just full of honey. And
yeah.
Pretty sad to see a whole like a whole cluster like that, just dead like that. Just the whole bottom box was empty. But if it would have just had probably a few hours of warm weather, it probably could have made its way up.
Yeah, it probably could have.
And then
the thing of it is, Darren, didn't you have most of I seen your last video and all your hives are completely wrapped, insulated and everything.
Yeah, I don't know how much good that insulation does on the sides though. I think it's more of a windbreak. But on that one nuke box, I had 3 boxes on that one. That's the one that didn't move up. I think there was just too much space in there. It just couldn't, it was just cold. But I had one that absconded though. I did an OA vapor treatment on that one in November, and there were bees in it, and it absconded after that. And I don't know if that's like a sign of colony collapse, isn't it? Whenever they just abscond like that, and there's only like a small, tiny there's a handful of bees in there. I don't know if that's what that was or not, but that's pretty unusual. They got a full hive, full of honey, and then they just abscond like that in November, no less. I don't get that. So
that's kind of strange.
Yeah, but I mean, my bees, most of them look pretty decent.
Yeah.
I just hope I can maintain that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing well. You've only lost 1 so far. So
I lost 3. So
3. Yeah, but that's good. So
3 out of what, Darren?
15.
That's pretty good.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, really, considering what a lot of other people have lost.
Yep.
Hey, Philip. And then Matt there, he's doing quite well.
Yep.
He's out there in, what is it, 1/8 of a gallon per hive and nectar, thin nectar, and everybody else is doing good. So I think things are, the weather's changing and we might have some cold snaps here or there, but I think bee season is starting to.
It's starting.
It's starting to move. It's not going fast. It's just like, well, we're going to build a little bit of speed here.
Yeah. So I made an announcement earlier. I'll make it again. The queen wren class is pushed back to the 26th of April. So that gives you advance notice if you need to change a room date or anything like that, if you've got a hotel room or anything like that. So
26th and 27th?
Yes, 26th, 27th of April, because I am not seeing any drone brood right now. So you figure it takes 26 days to hatch out, and it's additional 2 weeks before they're mature enough to mate. So even if we hit the point to where I've got drone brood that's hatching out and we drop cells the second day of class, it's 16 days for them to come out. the drones should be mature by then enough to mate. So I think it'll be good for the 26th. So
All right.
sorry I
Well,
have to move it, but not really a
Weather-
choice at this point.
the weather will probably
Yeah.
be better anyway.
If that's what you got to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Because I'm looking at cold nights the rest of the month here. And then April, you're still cold nights up through about the 19th, 20th. Then they start warming up. They're getting up in the 40s, mid to high 40s here. So that's close enough. So all right, Phil, we'll see you when you get out. Tom took insulation off today.
What's the half inch? I don't quite understand. Is that the lid?
Is that all the way around the hive, Tom, or is that just on the lid? Come on in here and explain it.
Now there's a question here from Dave Curtis.
I think he means a half inch maybe on top on the
I
lid.
don't know. Living here in Minnesota this time of year, all the bees are on top. So my question, no, do not do that.
Right now, Minnesota's pretty darn cold, I'd say.
Yeah. She will, Dave, she will go down on her own when she's ready. When it's warm enough for her to start rearing brood, she will go down on her own to her nest.
If anything, Dave, I'd be feeding sugar
Yeah.
bricks. I mean, I know your weather, I'm sure, is in the 40s,
Yeah.
if at the best.
So Dave, a good one to talk to, and he's on here tonight, is Roy Pro or any of the Michigan beekeepers up there near you. They know the weather, they know the region up there, but you should be feeding something right now.
Yeah, Russell Koopman, somebody like that.
Yeah, Russell or Roy. He's a good one to talk to up there.
Well, Phillips on 33-mile bees. I know he's
Yeah.
not, but he lives up there too.
Yep.
Um,
So, Tom, do you leave the insulation on year round, or is that just on the lid?
Well, I run a 1-inch high density board with a 1/2-inch high density board with a hole cut in the 1/2 inch for feeding.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have the lid on top and I bucket feed, so it also has a hole with a plug in it. So what I take off is the solid board 1-inch, but I leave the 1/2 inch on like an inner cover for the hot sun during the summertime, just so it doesn't bake the top of the hive as much.
Okay.
So, but I take the 1-inch off. And I leave the 1/2 inch on.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the same thing an L lid does. It works like
Yeah.
your house. So, yeah. Hey, JW.
So I
Clothes
started feeding 0.5, 0.7 to 1. I didn't quite measure it. I just know how much to fill up on the bucket.
on.
Sugar water today because we're supposed to have we had 68 today. The next 5 days we're supposed to be 70 to 78, I think, by Friday or Thursday.
Yeah, we were 63 here today with a light wind blowing, so it felt like about 59 or 60. So
And
Yeah,
I think the lows tonight's 42, but all the rest of the nights are like 50, 55, low 50s for the next 5 days. Then a cold front's coming through. We're supposed to have storms and maybe even severe storms on Saturday.
Yeah, I got 30s all week at night here.
Yeah, but
So-
that's typical for this time of year. Like our weather's like that. Like tomorrow we're going to be 70, then it's dropping down to 40 again,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yep.
the way it is.
Yeah. But
And I
I
think-
noticed next week the temperatures are moderating a little bit than what they first said. They're
Yeah.
adding a few degrees on it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like it's quite as cold as what looked like a few days ago.
I mean, the daytime temperatures are great. It's the nighttime temperatures that are killing right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm waiting to see some capped or some eggs and some brood cells and some drone cells. So I
You
know I
haven't
can
seen
start
any yet?
grafting.
you haven't seen
Well,
that yet?
I haven't looked deep enough into them yet. I'm probably going to Wednesday on 2 of my big hives. I want
Yeah,
to see if
it
I see
didn't-
eggs in any of the drone frames.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting to see some pollen come in. Haven't even seen that yet. Usually, like this. Usually, it's by like March 3rd. But
Wow.
Well, Dan, our silver maple tree started blooming last week.
Yeah, our maples are out now, and English walnuts and black walnuts. There's a bud pod on them, and forsythia, they're getting ready to pop here in the next few days.
Yeah,
So-
I think by the middle of the week, another 3 or 4 more days, they'll be blooming.
Yep.
you have
Yeah,
pollen
we-
coming in
I
shortly.
expect-
It was
I
coming in
expect
last Thursday, but
dandelions.
it was a fly day, and I didn't see anything today yet. But I will have to say, like there's some maples up on top of the hill there that are reddish looking. I think they're getting ready to, because of this warm weather this week, they're going to pop.
Yeah,
I put-
I'm already seeing the pollen come in from maples. The red buds ought to be coming out any time. So
I put pollen patties in a week and a half ago. They're just devouring those pollen patties down. They're going
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
on them. And I
Ours
was
is-
late. Like I wanted to do that like beginning like sometime like early February.
yeah,
So-
ours are still on pollen sub too. So there's pollen out there, but I don't think it's quite enough. You know what I mean? So, but they're hitting the pollen sub feeders
I
real
got
hard.
pollen patties on mine, but I've noticed now that when I checked them last week to this week, they're not touching it anymore,
Yep,
or very little.
they're getting pollen. They're getting natural pollen in from somewhere.
So,
Yeah, because I mean, it depends on each hive and whether they're how strong they are. But I had some hives that completely, the ones I looked at tonight, pretty much 98% of them, the pollen's going. And I had one there that maybe had a piece about 3 inches long that was left. That was, left in the hive. The
Yeah.
rest of it was all gone. It was a pound piece. They ate, I don't know, 80% of the pound. It's gone.
Yeah.
And the bricks, most of them were ate up. There was just some scraps. And there was some one bricks where I had put them on there a week or more ago that some of them they had eaten from the bottom up. They were digging out pretty good. And the other ones, they really didn't touch. But like I said, I had some nukes that were, the bees are at the top. And as soon as I drop a brick on that one and a brick on, on the different ones, reallocated it out to them guys. And, they're right on it, so.
Yeah, they're hungry.
So I'm waiting for the dandelions to bloom here probably later on this week. I expect them to pop up with this warm week gonna have starting
Yeah, I'm
today.
expecting them to start coming out too here anytime. So the crocuses are out. I see
Yeah,
a
they're
lot of that
blooming.
on the fence lines. So
So it's starting.
yeah,
We'll be moving up to your spot soon, Darren. Another week or two.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming.
I'm in no hurry. I'm never ready. I'm never ready.
I don't think any of us are really ever ready for it. It's just who's kind of been thinking about it when it starts, right? So
I
I'm
was
waxing
thinking-
more dipping tomorrow.
yeah.
That'd be my last time until I do a customer one sometime in April.
When are you going to do your splits?
It all. I'm thinking the first week of April or the second week of April. It all depends if I see drones.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the signs of drones.
Yeah.
Tom,
Me
are you going to
too.
split your production hives?
I'm planning on having 21 production hives.
How many
I'm
you
not
got?
expanding. I'm staying the
Okay.
same.
Okay.
20
And about
production hives.
5 to 6 resource hives.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were growing, Tom.
Nah, well, I'm growing nukes.
Okay.
12 six frames, double 6 frame boxes to sell nukes. Some this year and a lot next year. So I got it all split now. So if you look at my back picture, those will all be production hives, but I got another whole line that's running towards where you see the trees, kind of. Another 12 more 6 framers over there behind those two huge horizontal hives.
Okay.
There's a little clearing there between the trees that you can't really tell.
So I'm at 12 hives right now. So I'm thinking to get up to say 24 this year. I'm wondering if I could do some like very early splits, like some, so I'll call them, I guess, like thin splits. It's off of some like even my production hives. Wonder if that would hurt my honey production at all.
You can take out about a third of a hive and you won't hurt the honey production.
Yeah,
One time.
that's what I thought. Just do one
About
small split.
30%. So you can take a food frame, pollen frame, and probably 2 brood frames, and maybe a honey frame,
Right.
Yeah.
and make a 4 frame split. With, 3 frames of bees and one
Yep.
food honey frame, or
Hey,
partially honey. If you find one that's got pollen and honey, 50-50 on it, that's perfect.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
if you get in it, if your weather's right, where it's not cold and, at nighttime and, you can make smaller splits, I'll say, in nuke boxes.
Yeah. Like DC said, you could run a 3 frame nuke box and do a small split if that's what
Yeah.
you're calling a thin split.
Yeah. And do them early enough, and you got all summer. for them to
Yeah,
build
you
up.
might get something off of them.
Your time framing is probably late April. As soon as
Probably.
you start, when's your swarm start? About end of April?
Probably like sometime in May, actually, like maybe like beginning of May. Sometime.
Okay,
That's when I start really watching.
Okay.
that's a good time to do splits. Because then if they're swarming, then there's drones.
And if I can get some of those latchjaw queens off of Bill, I'll be set.
Yep.
He doesn't know when he's grafting. Yeah, neither do I.
I'm figuring we're going to be grafting middle to towards the end of April. So
Last year I grafted the 3rd week of March because we already had drones capped.
oh
We
yeah.
had that warm February.
Yep.
But I'm not even thinking about it this year.
No, we're not either. It's too cold right now.
I'm hoping early April I can graft. 1st week of April. But I can't make that call yet.
There's Mr. Miller.
I
How are
can't
you this
help.
evening?
I can't help it. I got to talk about bees.
Hey, Mark.
I have the same disease.
You're addicted.
How are y'all doing?
We're
Hey.
doing well.
Where you at, Mark?
I'm in. Where am I? I'm in Clarksville, Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better being in cold.
Yeah. Hey, Darren, ain't seen you in a while.
How you doing?
I'm good. Tom, you doing all right?
I'm doing good.
Good. Bill, you been busy?
Yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah.
I've
What
been
about
real
you,
busy.
Charlie?
Yeah. I started feeding some liquid today and all
Okay.
that. And the only problem is I was telling Bill about I got a big blue tractor I got. The front planetary went out on it.
Yeah.
So we got a price from one company to fix it. It was $10,000. And I said, I don't think so. So my son went up to the other place. He just bought this disc bine. Parts alone were like $3,600. So they're
Ain't
looking at
bad.
like $5,000 to do the job for us.
That's better than 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our concern is there something there that we don't know about torquing and whatever
Yeah.
that would mess it
Yeah.
up. So normally we would just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of getting that trying to fix,
Hey, Charlie, 2 clicks of the elbow, and it's torqued.
Go on
Yep.
YouTube. You can find out anything on
Yeah,
YouTube.
you can find out anything on YouTube.
Yeah. So that's, beekeeping, like I say, we were talking about it earlier, Mark. It's starting to move, it's the season's starting to get
Yeah.
going. It's we're not ramming it hard, but it's getting there. So we were talking about grafting, Mark. When do you figure you'll be grafting? Now you do a lot of grafting.
I don't know. I'm waiting on them to tell me. I'm not going to really pick a date. I just wait and see when they're ready to start making sales, and that's when I'm going to jump in.
And
I'm
what
gonna try to.
what month are usually that happen for you?
Well, last week I started about the 3rd week of March. May have been the 2nd week of March. It was early or last year. It's probably gonna be 1st April this year. I just imagine. I
Yeah.
might be able to start a little early, but if I don't have drones, I ain't gonna fool with it. So we'll just see.
I have my commercial guy that lives on the east side of me. He's already grafted already, but he's sending all his virgins down south
Right.
for the southern boys.
Yeah.
So
We
he's
probably
got
won't
them
do
making
anything.
sales already.
We probably won't
Even
do
in this
anything here,
cold
Mark,
weather.
until near the end of April
Yeah.
because it's just too cold.
Well,
We've got good daytime temperatures, but the nighttime temperature is still too cold.
right now I think I've got everybody lined up that wants to help, and it's just do what we can do and don't sweat the rest. That's all
There you go.
It's beekeeping. Just do what you can do and don't sweat it. It's all you can do.
Yep, that's all you can do.
But I got a guy call me today, wants 500 sales. So
Wow.
that's going to keep me busy right there. Just that. But once I get the builders going, it won't take that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your cell builders, you're usually dropping 60 cells or so in.
Well, it
then?
just depends, Charlie. That there's a lot of factors goes into that, right? You got to have a good nectar flow, good
Yeah.
pollen flow. All the nutrition's got to be rolling. If you have a day or two cut off and you've got 60 cells in there, they won't work. It won't work worth the crap. You've got to have all the nutrition they need,
Yep.
and it helps for it to come into the door.
Yep.
You can furnish everything, and that's okay for a day, maybe 2. But if you get a bad week, it's just a bad week.
Yep.
Right.
It just depends. When I start, I may not put but 30 in. Work my way up to 40. May work my way up to 60. Just depends how the year's going. Yeah, I want to throw 60 in there, but You know, sometimes you can waste your time too
Yep.
by doing that.
Let's see that first one.
Honestly, I don't see a whole lot of difference in quality as long as you're playing it smart and everything is going good and you throw 60 in there and they build say 55 of them. I don't see no difference in them queens than I do if I put 10 in there.
Yep.
When they hatch out, they're the same size, they're the same production, everything's the same on them. So I don't see no difference in any of that. Now some of the cells may be a little smaller, but I've seen some giant queens come out of little cells too. So
Sometimes you wonder how they fit in that little cell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, darn, that's
Yeah.
as big as the other one.
Now, you know, the jelly's up in the top of the thing. Are they eating the jelly with their mouth parts, or is that where it's absorbed through the larvae itself?
They're feeding it to the larvae mouth to mouth. Is what
Okay.
they're doing. Now what's on the sides, I
Because,
don't
I mean,
know.
basically the queen forms where the head's down, right?
Yeah.
That way they can chew it out, chew the bottom of the cell out and all. Because, you know, they always say, do you have enough jelly left up in the cup after she hatches? And I see that where there's a small.
Well, I don't want jelly, and when she's about ready to hatch, I don't want any jelly up in there. They better have eaten it because the
Yeah.
ones that's got jelly in there, crack them open, they may be dead. They didn't
Yep.
eat it.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about just a smidgen of jelly in that little dip.
Well,
Yeah,
In that little dip.
Sure, they'll go up there and get stuck.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, but I'm getting at is they always said that, you know, they have more food than what they could use, which was
right. I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
and all that.
Yeah.
So,
but beware of them that are still packed, and it's time for them to hatch.
Yeah.
Open that cell up because there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it's not. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they just got an overabundance of jelly, you know. I don't know. It's grafting just takes practice,
Yep.
year after year after year after year, and you pick up on little things every year. You get a little better every year, but you got to practice it. You just got to do it.
Yep.
now is your
But-
starter, Mark, is it a queen right cell finisher starter?
No, sir. No, sir. I don't do that. I find it better to use the swarm impulse and just finish them right there in that colony. There's no difference in them. Not a lick. I don't care what they say. That
your
a
colony
swarm instinct is the best it is. You put them in there, they're going to start building cells right then. You ain't got to wait a week. You just start doing it. Now you got to go back in there and tear the cells down. I'm telling you, the swarm impulse is the best.
So when
Now,
that hive is getting ready to swarm, do you pull that queen out of there and then put your grafts in?
right, exactly. Add more to it. Build it the way you want it. And you got to go in and tear them cells out and just roll with it. I've used them for 4 weeks in a row. And you can use them longer. You're going to have to move it and add brood,
Yep.
you know, but that's fine. Get rid of the old bees. Yeah. I've tried it every way it is to try it. I'm telling you right now, that swarm impulse is it. The hard part is you don't always have one ready to swarm when you get ready to graft.
Exactly.
So you have to learn to push them to swarm. Okay, instead of you got to reverse what you've learned to try to get them not to swarm. Now you're trying to get them to swarm.
Yep.
So you got to reverse that,
Yep.
and that's not hard. You know, when I start out, I'm gonna build 6 builders right off the bat. So I need 6 that's just right at ready to swarm.
6 big eyes.
So that means that there's 6 there that I can't break down and split. Okay. to do whatever.
That's right.
Okay, because all of them that I split, and then I need more builders. Now I'm back treading because now I got to go back and all of them get brood. They're not in the swarm pulse,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna have to do it like the old way to try to make them build. Then and I'm going up the creek without a paddle, basically. And that's where it creates a lot of work. So I can't break down everything. I have to leave so many for just raising cells, and then break down so many for raising queens, and then so many for honey production. Oh, it's trying to get everything going to maximize the number of bees that you got, the number of hives that you got, and maximize the income off of them. It basically is what I'm doing.
I don't know how
I
you
don't-
manage all that and still being on the road the way you are. Like that.
It's
I don't know.
easier. It's you work on one thing at a time, and then as you get one thing going, then you start something else. You work a little bit here on this, work a little bit here on this. Before you know it, it's beekeeping is just don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Do what you can do.
Yep.
Don't sweat it. Don't let it worry you. You do what you can do, and that's all you can do.
Yep. And the way that you're doing it, Mark, you can do it as well with a double screen board on a queen right hive too. If you
Yeah,
break that contact.
right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, they're already in the swarm impulse, but you're just keeping the queen in that one box. What I do is I just move the queen because I have so many queens that are breeder queens, okay,
Yeah.
that I can graft from. So instead, I'll just move her to a box, like a 5 frame, and I can still go to her real quick and grab eggs if I want to.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what I do at my 5 or 6 resource hives. I'll pick one of the hives to be my swarm hive. And I'll take frames of brood from the other resource hive to make one big hive that I know wants to swarm, and that's the one I graft in.
right.
So similar to Mark, but I only do one hive because I only graft a couple times in the now, and I'll do a couple more right around summer solstice.
Yeah.
So, Mark, are
What-
you grafting like once a week, or are you grafting several times a week?
Once a week, I graft on Tuesday. That's it. It was. I think Dwayne's going to help me this year again. I just talked to him a while ago, and he's on board. He's got to have a heart catheter, I think, 24th of April, so he's going to be down a little while. But other than that, I don't think he'll be down that long. That'll help. We'll try to run a couple hundred grafts a week at least.
So that means if you're grafting on Tuesday, then they're capped by Sunday.
Sunday or Monday.
Well,
And
if I graft on Tuesday, I generally check them on Friday if I get in early enough. If I don't get in early enough, I'll check them Saturday morning. And then I'm calling my guy that's, say, buying 100 or so that week, okay? And I'm letting him know you've got this many that's took. So he's got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to do his splits ready. He comes and he gets them Wednesday night, and he puts them in Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
And then they hatch on Sunday. And everybody has to be connected. That's the hard part. You've got to stay on the phone. You've got to get with everybody, has to be in touch. You can't just say, well, here's your 100 sales. It don't work that way.
Mm-mm.
You've got to be in contact. Everybody has to work together to make it work.
so he's going to pick them up on a Friday or
On a Wednesday. He'll pick them up
on a
Wednesday.
Wednesday. And are they old enough that where they won't mess
They'll
up?
be 12 days. They'll be 13 days old Thursday. So they're almost 13 days old. He'll get them Wednesday evening. And he'll carry them, put them in an incubator, and he'll put them in Thursday and Friday.
Right.
In 13 days, they're
2
fine.
days later.
Yeah.
3,
It's
4.
just
Goes
a
fast.
process.
What,
Yeah.
Tom? What, Tom?
I said it goes fast.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
looking at the fragile. A certain period of there. It's a fragile time.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, I pull mine out at a week.
He's about 2 days out from hatching, 2.5 days out.
Yeah. Long
See,
enough to
I
get them there in
graft
the
on
mail.
I graft on Tuesday. I pull them out the next Tuesday. They're capped. They're fragile. But all I'm doing is taking them up, putting them in an incubator. You just have to be
Okay.
careful. You can't knock them around. But they're
Right.
not being moved. They're just going from the hive to the incubator. That's it. And then
Yeah.
I'm dropping more grafts in.
What kind of incubator? You have like a egg type thing or
Just a
something?
chicken incubator, yeah. And my wife just bought me another one, and it ain't quite big enough, but I think I can make it work.
How do you
You
control
get
the humidity in that, Mark, that incubator? Or don't you bother with that really? You just,
with the controls.
well, you talking about one of those little styrofoam incubators? One of those?
Yeah, just a regular chicken incubator. I think I run it on what, 92, 93, something like that.
Yeah,
And
that's what I run mine at.
And I don't really think it's going to fluctuate. Yeah, chicken incubator is going to fluctuate. But you know what? That hive fluctuates too.
Yeah, it does.
So there you go. What difference does that make?
And the humidity
I
in
put
the
a
hive
wet sponge in
fluctuates
mine.
too.
Yeah.
Keep the humidity up.
The humidity is just basically, I think, to keep that wax soft enough to where she can eat her way out. I think
Right.
that's got more to do with it than anything. Just keeps it
Yeah,
kind of
'cause
from hardening up, and getting so hard she can't get out.
I talked to Hardimans
Right.
about that. I said, "What about the humidity?" So I got to keep it low because I don't want them. He said that way they don't hatch out as fast, and they're
Well, the
getting them out
heat,
there.
the heat, Charlie, make them hatch fast. If you've got it too hot in
Yeah.
there, they'll hatch a day early, sometimes two.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I can't remember what he told me, but he said maybe he said it a little bit low. Maybe it was I was saying I hit mine at 92 or 93, and theirs is several degrees lower than that. So they don't. He gives them more time to get them out into the mating yards and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If you get up to 94 degrees, that'll be a 15 to 16 day queen.
yeah, ours is mine. I think I set mine at 92 or 93.
So
I like
DC's got a
92.
question. He was looking at one with humidity controls. He wants to know if we think it's worth the price.
Wonder what the extra price is.
Yeah, I mean, all I do in mine's a top is the freezer part of a refrigerator. I put a little fan in there. I put a little plastic tray that like lunch meat comes in, that's pre-sliced, and it holds 16 ounce or a Coke bottle worth of water. You just pour it in there, and the heat will absorb the moisture out of that
Yeah.
tray,
Yep.
and it works fine. The main thing is you got to look at it about every 3 days and fill that thing because it'll suck it
Right.
dry.
Yep.
And DC lives in a flowing river area. It's always
Yeah, he
humid where
does.
he lives.
Yeah, it's always humid up there. My old chicken incubator, it tells me the humidity inside there. And all I do is just pour water in the bottom of it. It's got like trays in there.
Yeah,
Just
like a
fill them
tray.
up. Yeah, just fill them up and it'll run 70, 75% humidity in there.
So then you really don't have any control over it other than you could take the water out if you wanted to, or
Yeah, that's about it,
that's the only
Darren.
control
So
you have.
you're just adding moisture, really.
Yeah. To keep the wax soft.
Yep.
That's the same way with chicken eggs. All it's doing is keeping them eggs moist to where they can hatch out.
Yep.
That's all it is. Same way with the bees.
Yeah.
And if you're going to hatch them out yourself, which honestly, guys, I think that's the best way to do it, is just hatch them out yourself. Just crack it open, and they're going through less stress, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got to catch it at the right time, though. You got to have your timing right. But
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the best way to do it. You know, let them hatch out in them roller cages. Just pop them open and let them crawl out.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
less
do. Roller
stress.
cages.
Yeah, it's less stress. It's like a C-section baby. A
Yeah.
C-section baby hardly ever cries. They're just calm, cool, and collective. One that
Yep.
went through the vaginal birth, oh man, sometimes they can be little aliens.
And you can check the queen for any defects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might have only 5 legs.
Yeah. Exactly.
You never know.
and the
Yep.
key I think is get them company right away. Don't let them stay alone very long if they hatch out. Get attendants in there
Oh,
right
yeah.
away
Yep.
as soon as you can, and don't ever let them go by themselves. From
Nope.
that point on, they've always got attendants taking care of them.
Yep.
They're social insects, so they've got to have that. They'll get so depressed. Some of them they'll just die because they don't have nobody there to tend to them.
Well, that's like
I let them hatch out. I mark them, and then I put them in the hive.
Yeah, that's the best way. They get plenty of attention that way, Tom.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
Yeah,
do.
I think the mating success helps too. You give them that
I've,
full 4 days with bees with them.
there's something to that, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
My commercial guy will give me a call every once in a while and say, "Hey Tom, get over here. I got some 4-day queens." When I'm picking them up, they already hatched out. They're already a day or two old, and I do not get as good as acceptance. Not acceptance, mated when I'm putting them in. They're not. I'm not even made my split yet, so I got to make my split. So they're not going in like to the 3rd day, and
Right.
they're not the same queens.
Right.
DC's got another one. Artificial insemination, Mark. What's your thoughts on that?
I'd love to be able to do it, but I just don't have time. That's a whole nother ball game. And I could do the virgins and I can go catch drones. But it's sitting down collecting that semen. I don't know. I've never. It's just time consuming.
Yeah. And it's
I my
expensive.
my partner does it, and I actually went in 50% with him, but he did the
Yeah,
class.
Yeah.
I'd
So
love to do it. Whether or not it would be worthwhile, I don't know. I don't know. I think at this point, I'll just let somebody else do all that,
Yeah.
and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing because the investment is well. I ain't got to tell y'all, you know.
Yeah. It's the small insemination kit. It gives you a microscope and a few tools, and that's about it. It's $5,000.
Yeah, but
and
you
you
know
need a good
yourself, you're not going to stop there.
Oh no.
You're
no.
going to keep
No.
buying and buying and buying just like you
Yep.
do everything else. You
Yep.
know, it's not going to stop, and
And
Right.
you
you're
need
going
a
to
good
perfect it.
monitor with where it's zoomed in. I don't
Yep.
know a lot. 'Cause you're looking at the monitor when you're doing it
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, right.
because it's zoomed in a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I've got a magnifying or a microscope, the one of the little digital ones. It's like a little phone,
Yep.
and you put it under there and you can zoom in. Oh, you can zoom in a lot with that thing. And I do little stuff, you know, when I'm just tinkering around, but that's about the extent of it.
But a lot of the big part from what he's telling me is getting the drones, getting the semen out of the drones.
Yeah, you
And
gotta.
how many drones you got to get?
Well, see, with something like what I'm doing, you're going to have to test, and you're going to have to test in spring. So that means you're going to have to put the mite pressure to them, because if you test in the fall, now you're back treading because you're going to
Right,
want to pull the semen out of the drones. And then if you put mite pressure on, do you really want to raise queens? I don't.
right.
You see what I mean? because you've got mite
Right.
pressure on. You don't know what kind of disease you could possibly have, what
Yep.
kind of virus you could possibly have. Do you really want to raise queens and sell them with a lot of mite pressure on? I don't. I can't. I have to pass state inspection.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to weigh everything, you know.
Well, I mean, you figure like what's his name, Pabu down in Nashville, and um, there's the guy up at New River Honeybees. He's got into artificial insemination, and he's got nitrogen tanks like you do for cattle and all that stuff. And then he went out there and he would show where he put a queen excluder in front of the hive in the evening and sit there and gather 300 or 400 drones as they're coming back to that hive. So he knew the semen was from that queen and that queen's drones and everything. And like you say, Mark, it's its own little world, just that part of it, because it's like you're capturing drones, and then you're sucking up a drop of semen off every drone, and then you're putting it in a vat there that's got liquid nitrogen to freeze it. And he's talked about that one time where he did take frozen semen, and actually it worked. Everything worked good.
Yeah.
And
it usually don't. Usually the tails break on them.
right.
Yeah.
And he was talking about buying queens from these different high-end breeders to get that genetic line, and that that's all he focuses on. And he used to
Right.
put a lot of videos up, but he had some back issues. I do know that. And
Yeah, health issues.
huh?
He had health issues.
Yeah.
He had his lower back. He had back operations.
Yeah.
So now he's back up and running, but I think that's all he focuses on, just the queens. That's it.
Of
That's
course,
what he
I drive a truck, and I've got my route set, and I know when I'm going to get home most times. I had rather just stick with practical beekeeping and put as good a quality queens as I can out, as far as virgins and mated ones around my area. My biggest hang up is shipping, because I'm usually gone on Monday and they need to go be shipped on Monday. That's the hardest part for me, seems like, where that would be easy for y'all, but I always have trouble with shipping.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, what do you
Course-
do if those queens hatch out in the incubator while you're on the road? Are you just always able to time it so that you're?
I time
Yeah.
it to where they hatch out on Sunday. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah. That way
that
they can go in the mail on Monday.
hard to get that timing down just right too, because I mean, it's Mother Nature. You never know what's going to happen, really.
You can put honey and water in the roller cage at the bottom of it
It's
to buy
Yeah.
a little bit of time.
Darren,
Yeah.
it goes back to the same rule. Okay. Well, we've always said 21 days for a worker, 23 days for a drone, 16 days for a queen. That's not going to change. And it stays the same. So you work around that. You schedule everything in that 16 days. When you graft, it's 4 days old.
Right.
Okay, so start counting it down. So I graft on Tuesday. That larva's 4 days old. So how many days have I got? 12 days.
12 days.
That'll be Sunday.
Yeah. I had that problem, Darren, a couple of years ago. My mom passed away. The queens were coming out, and I was stuck at my mom's house. And I put food at the bottom right when I left, since I knew they were going to be hatching out when I'm gone. And by the time I got there, that some of them had already died because they
Yeah.
starved to death.
A lot of times, most them queens will hatch it maybe a half a day sooner or a day sooner sometimes.
Now, if you're just going to do a few, Darren, you get the roller cages, get that set up, to where you got them the little brown things with the cups go in the sleeve, and then
Right.
you just put the roller cage over that and just hatch them right there in your builder. if you're not going to do but say 20
Yeah.
or 30,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. I have one of those incubators. I've actually hatched them out in there before. And actually, I went to work that day. I got home, they were hatched up, they were all dead too, right? So it doesn't
Yeah,
take long. I mean, they like you said, like they need their attendance. They do need that, like right now. They need that honey to sustain themselves.
that's what we
I
do
bought a
on
new
Sunday. We're
I bought
constantly
a
putting
new tool
attendance
this
in.
year from Better Bee. I bought one of those queen excluder cages where you can put her and the empty good frame in and put it in 4 days before your day you're going to graft. Then take it out on the fourth day, and you know you're going to have all the same age larvae.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to
I'm
try
going to
one. I
try
don't
that
have
this
one.
year.
I just like before the Charlie chat, which is on Friday, I'll go in and drop an empty cone right in the middle of the nest on Friday. Or which
Yeah,
ones I'm going to graft from. I'll pull a frame brood out, pop one in, each one of them. And then by Tuesday, I've got what I want.
right.
Yeah, we
Just
have
put
a
it right.
homemade one.
Yeah, I just put it right in the middle of the nest. Like
Yeah.
she's going to go straight to. They're going to start cleaning it, and she's going to start laying it immediately.
Yep.
Right.
That's
Well,
how I
that's a
do
good
it.
point.
But now I'm not grafting that many. A couple hundred is
Right.
nothing. You know, you get that
Yeah.
off one side of one frame.
Yeah. You're right.
Right. Right.
All right, well, guys, I got to get going. Tomorrow's a 4 a.m. wake up, so
Good
I
night,
just wanted to
Darren. Thanks
jump
for
on and
coming
say hello.
in.
Good to see you,
Yeah,
Darren.
right, Darren.
Okay, hey, I'll see you. Probably see you guys Friday.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
I took the
Good
next
night.
2 days off. I'm using up some of my PTO days before I retire next
What day
month.
you gonna retire on, Tom?
18th is my final last day
Of this month?
of April, but my last day in the office will be the 16th.
Okay. Well, you have to come
I
see
got
me one
almost,
day.
what's that?
You have to come see me. You're retired. You can travel.
Yeah.
I plan to visit a lot of you guys, two or
Yeah.
three a year,
There you go.
especially if they're like less than 6 hours. You know, one day road trips.
There you go.
So I better get the Mark. I should better get the Bill and Charlie's pushing it a little bit. That would be an overnight stay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm hoping to go to a couple more conventions too. I'll hit the one out in St. Louis. That's only a 6 hour drive, 5.5.
Yeah. Right. We had fun. It was a good one.
Yeah, I'll come out and see your place.
Get ready to see how rednecks live.
Yeah,
I don't wear these overalls for nothing.
I understand.
This is the
I'm just
real
kind of
deal
neat.
here, buddy.
It's in my blood. I like being neat and organized. That's what an engineer does. It's got that
Yeah.
engineer blood in me.
Come on out here. I'll put you to work on the farm.
Yes, sir.
We'll break your knee in right.
Well, I
You may
know how to
be
work on a
digging
farm.
taters and you may be catching queens. I don't know
Yep.
which.
Yeah. All depends on what day it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly.
Yeah. I'm just trying to maximize up my production now. I don't really want no more hives. I'm just trying to maximize what I've got
Yeah.
and go from there. And you know, you gotta hit it at every angle. It's just like honey. You gotta have creamed honey. You gotta have this. You gotta have that. You know, if you really want to maximize, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Same way with the bees.
Yep.
You got to do it all. Have it available.
Well, that part I can agree with, Mark. Having it available, having it somewhere where you can get your hands on it. But I don't think as an individual beekeeper you have to be able to do it all.
No.
But you get, and being a supplier, you have to be able to meet the demand of the supply.
Right.
Supply and demand. So, if I can get my hands on it, yeah, I can say I can get it. But if I can't get my hands on it, then I can't even say that. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, just average beekeeper is do it the way you like to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what you like to do. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody twisting your arm to do anything.
Nope.
Do what you like to do. Do it
Yep.
the way you want to do it. That's the best way to do it.
Yep, it is. That's the best way to do it.
Yep.
So,
I mean, everybody's got their own speed and what their capabilities.
Mhm.
Don't ever exceed yourself. Just
yep.
like when I sell honey, I don't sell all my honey right away. I try to make it last the whole year.
Yeah.
So I don't lose customers during the year because there's no honey available.
Right.
Right.
And
Yep.
other people say, I already sold mine first 2 months. Well, okay,
Yeah.
well, I could. I don't want to. I
Right.
Yeah, but
deliberately have a number of stores selling it for me to make it last a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can average 70 pounds of honey off of hives, and I would like to be able to increase that, but it's just a matter of the year. Every year is different, right?
Yeah.
And if I've done 70 pounds off of each hive, I think I've done real good. But I would like to get it up there at about 100
yeah, that's
if I
about like
could.
me. I averaged last year about 80 pounds,
Yeah.
and
My goal's 100,
it would
Yeah.
be
but
nice.
I have too many
I don't think
beekeepers around me. Too
there's
many hives.
enough forage for me to be able to do that.
See, my problem is my work. So I leave a lot of honey. Okay. And I don't count that. And I don't have to feed hardly any because I've left them
Right.
plenty. You know, uh, I could jump that up, I'm sure, but it's going to cost me money to do it and time.
Time. But I do know my neighbors, beekeepers, that they didn't have a good winter. They lost a lot of their hives because they both called me today.
Yeah. I
So they're
talked to a
not going
guy
to have,
today.
they have to
He
start
lost.
over.
I talked to a guy today. He lost 100 in the flood we had. And we said the water come up so fast he couldn't get to them.
Yeah.
Lost 100, over 100. Um,
So they're not going to be pulling the honey like they typically do, especially Mike. He usually has 7 to 10 really, really big hives. He puts them in the swarm mode
yeah,
as big as he can get them.
right.
But he lost all but one. He lost 6 out of 7.
Ooh.
Well, did he not treat, or what? What's his problem?
I don't know, Charlie. He's been a beekeeper for 20 years. I'm sure he did the same thing did every year.
Hmm, I don't know. It seemed like to me that the way the Mike situation is, for me anyway, you seem like you have to treat pretty much year round in order to keep everything running. In the wintertime where I'm, pushing oxalic acid, and unless it's not too cold.
Well, knock on wood, Charlie. I'm not having to do that. Knock on wood so far. Okay.
Well, you
I'm
got
not out. I'm
you
not out of
got
the woods yet.
no, but you got
Okay.
some. You sound like to me you got some nice VHS stuff there.
Well, it's all about the drones. That's like I was trying
Yeah.
to say the other night. It's all about the drones. You buy some virgins. Say you buy 20 virgins and put them in your yard. They mate with your bees. Well, they may be spicy. They mixed with your bees. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But the next time you buy 20 more virgins, now guess whose drones they're going to mate with? Them other VSH drones.
Right.
And you do that again the next year. And you keep getting them drones. That's what nobody's looking at. It's all about the drones.
Right.
You
And
can't
the
buy
number of
20
drones.
virgins and get them mated in your yard and have any kind of perspective of what you're going to have. Because
And
you can't. You've got to get the drones there first.
if you get your queen mated with 30, 40, 50 drones, the odds are one of those or two of those drones will be VHS drones, and you'll have enough bees, VHS worker bees in your hive to keep the mite counts down low. But if
Right.
you only have the queen mated with 15 or 20 drones, your odds are a lot less.
It's just something you got to do. You got to repeat year after year after year to get the drones every year. Keep them drones coming in. Just keep adding more drones. And
That's what I'm doing last year, and I'm doing it even more this year. Every hive's going to have two drone frames in it, just to see if get the maximized number of drones per hive.
right. And the only thing I can say with that is just if you're going to do it, is get started now. Don't wait. Because
Right.
quicker you get started, the quicker you'll get there. Because it don't happen overnight. It's just something you just got to work at.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, I bought 20 virgins and they're mean." Yeah, well, what did they mate with?
Exactly.
They were
Right.
crossed. You know, you hadn't been going in and culling the mean ones, and they were probably crossed, and who knows? You
Yep.
know, you got to give it time to give it any kind of perspective.
The thing we learned about raising queens a long time ago, Mark, is raising queens, you have to really think ahead about your genetics that you want, and you got to breed for those genetics.
And you got to stay with it.
Yep, you do. You got to stay with it. You got to keep watching it. Like you said, you got to cull the mean ones because you don't know what they're bred with. You get a good queen, you want to graft from her. You would get calm ones, you want to graft from them. You don't want to graft from the mean queens, even though those bees are probably your best honey producers. But
You don't
then
want
you
them
got to deal with
drones.
the attitude.
Yeah, you don't want them drones in your yard. You know,
Yep.
so
Right.
get rid of it then. Be
Yep.
done with it.
Exactly. Get rid of it before you get a chance to get those drones in your yard.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
Well, my log swarm from last year made it through winter, and that's the tree I cut. I cut the tree down. I cut the log out, and I never put a suit on. They never did, even with a chainsaw running, and me
That's
cutting the
awesome.
top and bottom off. They never stung me, and to this day, that hive has never stung me.
You can count your blessings on that one. They didn't eat you up.
Yeah.
Well, I had my suit. I just never had to put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the time they'd have started eating on you, you putting that suit on, you're a little bit behind the curve there,
You're a
Tom.
little late. Yeah. You're a little late.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't mind a few stings, but no, I never had to put it on until this day. But the problem is, she's still in that tree, so I can't graft from her pretty easily.
Uh,
But she's coming out. She's coming out probably 1st of April, real soon.
yeah.
I'm doing a tree cutout in my
Bill,
yard.
the only other queens that I've really wanted to try to raise is back in the day they had a jet black queen in the Delta River bottoms down here in the Mississippi bottoms, And I heard a lot of old timers talk about them black queens, how good they were.
Yep.
But I've never run up on them yet. I've talked to a logger guy, and he said he sees a lot of them. But I've never got that phone call, that great big cypress full of them, where I could go in and maybe
Yep.
find a queen or two.
Some of the queens
I-
that we get, Mark, they are, I mean, a good inch long and jet black and big and fat.
Right.
Yeah,
And
That's what
I
they
haven't
said
seen
about
this.
them Delta queens. They were the same way. They're huge.
I
and they're
love those
black.
jet black queens because they are laying machines.
But see here, we see a lot of them that are meaner than crap.
Well,
Some of the black ones.
I guess because we're in those genetics of the Latshaws, and we do call mean queens,
Yeah.
and the queens that we produce and sell they can be spicy at certain times of the year, which all bees can be spicy, but for the most part, you can work them fairly easily, sometimes with just a veil and no gloves, but other times you have to have a veil on, and that's it. That's all you need. So just depends on time of year.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't seen this queen yet. She's still in the tree, but soon, a few more weeks.
Are you sure you're going to see her?
Yeah, because I'm going to be framing up all the comb. They built really nice comb, so I should be able to cut most of it out.
Yeah.
As far
Well,
as gentle goes, Bill, when I flip a honey super up and I put that blower on them and I start blowing them bees out, I don't want bees that's going to eat me up when I'm doing
right.
that.
Yep.
And I know it's making them mad. I get it.
Yep.
But as long as I can collect honey like that and they don't eat me up, I'm fine with them bees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you take a whole yard and you go down there and they're all mean and you start blowing them, you can't get the job done. They're going to eat you
No,
up.
they're all over the place.
Yeah.
All over you, all over the honey and everything else.
Right. That's what I call gentle.
Yeah.
When you're blowing them bees and they're not tearing you up.
Yeah.
Right.
And the only reason that we sell the bees that we do is because when we do splits and sell splits, we got a lot of beginning beekeepers buying our bees.
Yeah.
Right.
And we don't want them to have a hive that's going to get out of control and everything else. We want them to be able to succeed the first year. And then the second year, if the queen gets a little spicy, well, she gets a little spicy. So the bees get a little spicy. It's a learning curve in all of it. So,
Yeah.
but, we think about who's going to be getting these bees. Now, if it's an experienced beekeeper that's bought bees, yeah, he might get a spicy hive. But the new beekeepers, they're going to get them as gentle and calm as we can get them to
Yeah.
them.
I'd like to graft from this queen, so maybe it must be the somersault this queen graft.
Yeah. Well, good luck
They're,
finding her.
they're the most gentle queen hive I've ever seen.
Good luck finding her.
Yeah.
So do you have to cut the comb out from, is the side, you got the tree opened up from the side, or how do you have it opened up?
The whole one side of it, I actually had to put boards and close it up because it was a bee tree.
Yeah.
I had to cut down the center of it first to split off the non-bee half. So that whole side is open that I had to board up. So when I take that board off, all that comb will be right in front of me.
Oh, wow.
And it's probably 12 inches wide. So I should be able to get into it pretty easily.
That's a good sized tree. If they got a 12-inch opening.
It was a silver maple tree. It was a big one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got probably. I could look down at. They probably had 7 combs, probably about this long. I
Wow.
think in the hive when I cut it out.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, tree company called. A tree company called me on it. Says he's allergic to bees, so he got my number and called me. He goes, Tom. So I use his chainsaw to cut it down. Because you know how to cut down trees? I said, yeah, I know how to cut down trees. So I was able to cut it down myself. So the log never did tip over. So I was able to cut the top, put the board on top of it, cut the
Yeah.
bottom. Then I slid a board underneath it. Then between all of us, we were able to pick it up, put it in my truck.
Wow. So Charlie, you remember that field that sits back behind our barn that was beans last year? We're going to put corn in it.
Yeah, I think so.
All the way to the back of that field, there's a big old oak tree back there on the back fence line. It's got bees in it. They
Mm.
found it the hard way.
You did. You or somebody else?
They were walking the fence line and they were clearing fence rows the other day and they found it.
The
So-
bees found them.
Were they cutting the tree down or what?
No, they were just working near it. And
Well, that don't sound like a very good bee.
it was a nice day, and they were hanging out on the trunk of the tree.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I walked down in the woods Saturday. It was about 1 o'clock. It was a pretty day. And no, it was Sunday. Take it back. I've got about 15 acres of old growth, probably 100, 150-year-old trees. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of maples in there. And I walked in there, and the bees were up on them maples. And it's literally sounded like they were going to pick the maple tree up.
Oh, I'm
That's
sure.
That's how many bees was all over that woods. It's just
Yeah.
just constant. And I thought that was pretty neat.
Yep. So I
Yeah.
imagine those bees in that tree are going to swarm this year because it looked like they said it looked like quite a few of them on the outside of it. So
Well, good place for a swarm box.
nice place
Yeah.
for a swarm trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, you know how I got my genetics, don't you? My good genetics. My brother's farm is surrounded by the Amish. And I know the beekeepers and they don't treat.
Yeah.
So I catch their swarms. I catch 3 or 4 of their swarms every year.
Yeah, there's a guy not far from me, an Amish guy, and he'll run about 400 mating nukes. He don't use any incubators, none of that. He does everything the old way.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to watch him.
That's pretty much how these guys are. The younger guys do it more how we do it, and they will use oxalic acid vapor. But that's it.
Yeah.
From my brother's place. So I love catching those swarms. I know they got good genetics.
So what do they do? Get that horse to blow on that vaporizer? You get that?
You know how they get him to blow on it, don't you?
Mm.
Oh my!
Oh
Yeah.
man. Mm.
But
So how many cells do you want this year, Mark?
As many as I can sell.
No, how many you want from me?
Oh, I don't know. You reckon I ought to cross them?
Anything's worth a try. different genetics. I mean, give it a
I
try. I'll
wonder.
send you 10. How about I send you 10 to start with? If you want more, I'll send you more.
Well, we can do that.
All right.
What time of year you think it'll be?
Well, we're not going to graft until. Hang on, let me get my calendar.
Later's
up here.
better because I got a lot of things going on that's got to be done first.
We are not going to start grafting until sometime either the third week of April or the end of the fourth week of April.
Okay, so you're a month behind me, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
This
So
year.
you would get them in.
Don't get too far out of June, around mid-June,
So if we graft
1st of
there,
June.
we graft there. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They'll be in the mail to you. If we graft the 15th of April, they'd be in the mail to you on the 28th.
That's too early. I got too much other things going on to try to get 10 of yours mated, you know what I mean?
Or we can do.
Can you do some in June?
Yeah, we can do some in June.
That way I'll just overwinter them, see?
Yeah, I can. If we graft the 20th, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They'd be in the mail to you on the 2nd of June.
That's about right.
And that'd be the 12th day. So, because they can go out overnight the morning of the 12th, and you'd have them 3rd, which is day 13.
Yeah. I've never done it. I'm going to try some this year. Have you ever done it?
We've never sent cells, but we get cells on occasion, and the way they come is they take this foam padding, and there's holes in it that will hold the roller cages, and you drop them down in the roller cage down in these holes, and it leaves a little bit of it sticking up for air in case they do hatch out. And we'll put, I think we get 50 at a time when we get them, so it'll hold 50. And we lay another piece of foam over the top of it, so just in case it hits, they flip the box and it hits, then they're protected. So that's how we get them. So I can cut a strip out.
Well, see, the problem is you're pretty much going to have to overnight them, and that's a big cost.
It's all right.
Yeah, you think all right, and it's $200.
No, it ain't $200. I sent some stuff. I sent Queens to Tennessee last year overnight red, and it was 3 of them, and they all made it, and it only cost me $40.
What time of the year was that?
May.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if I was sending them to California overnight red, yeah, that's about $200 because they're going on a plane.
Yeah. Well, that price fluctuates a lot too, depending on what's going on in the world. You know?
Yeah, it does. Yep, you're right. It fluctuates quite a bit.
My problem with shipping is Memphis. Anything that goes through Memphis gets screwed up.
I have to laugh, Mark. Cincinnati is the same way.
It's
I have to
pitiful.
go down sometime to the main office downtown Cincinnati, and they say, we don't do pickups here. But I was told I have to pick them up here because I got live queens. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then they can't find it.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, it's supposed to go to my local office. It never makes it.
I'll probably wind up shipping my sales to you, Bill, before you do me, because I'm ahead of you.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
if
ripple
you're
effects has
interested,
not
you
as
may not
bad.
want none of my queens.
Why is that?
I don't know. You just may not.
You never know.
They may not live up there in them mountains up there.
That's right. You got flatlanders, don't you?
Yeah. And we got hills too. They not mountains though. They just hills.
Yeah, I got big hills.
Yeah, you do over there where you're at, Tom.
Yeah. I'm on top of I think it drops down 200 feet, 250 on each
Yeah.
side of me. I'm on top. So all my shit rolls down to the people down below.
Them are steep hills right there. They're short and steep.
Yeah, they're short and steep. That's why we got roads like Devil's Backbone and all kinds of weird names. Buffalo Creek, Muddy Creek.
It's pretty up in that area though.
Yeah, and there's a lot of woods because nobody builds on the side of the hills. They build either on top or down by the creek.
Yeah.
$30.98.
Wow. And who's that through?
FedEx.
Okay.
So $30 is not gonna make or break me.
No. I just hope I can find the same to get them to you.
If you do FedEx, you should be able to.
Well, I can do both FedEx and UPS. Or I
UPS
can,
sucks. They
yeah,
suck.
or I can priority mail them, but that'd take 4 days. Probably. Well, see, FedEx is going to go to Memphis, and then it's going to get screwed up.
You're right about that. You are right about that.
Yeah.
We'll see when the time gets here. Everything's subject to change these days.
Funny thing is, Mark, if you go to the east side of Cincinnati or northeast, it's flat as can be
Yeah.
from all the way up to Columbus
Mm-hmm.
or Dayton or Columbus.
Well, I
Yeah,
got up on one of them mountains right there, right outside of Cincinnati. Like it was on your side over here on the west
Yeah.
side. And oh boy, let me tell you, I didn't think I was gonna get down. I got on a little bitty road. And
Yeah,
then
there's some roads.
some girl stopped me and said, "You can't go down this hill because that bridge is out." I'm like, "Ma'am, I can't go no further. It's gonna be gravel
Yeah.
before long."
We got some hairpins with semis or big trucks can't take them. They're too tight.
I
You're
think that's the
basically
one I was
going
on.
opposite direction in 20 feet.
Yeah.
Sharp turn. You're taking about 5, 7 miles per hour.
I got on one of them roads up in West Virginia up there, going from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania to West Virginia to Maryland that way. Yeah. There was rock on both sides of the road. You go
Yeah.
down in there and there's rock on both sides. And you got to turn a curve with all them rocks on both sides. And that trailer, it's 2-lane road.
It's
Luckily,
tight.
I
Yeah.
didn't rip the trailer to pieces.
Yep.
One of my wife's cousins a few years back, was 2 hours late getting to our house because he couldn't believe he was driving on Ebenezer Road, Devil's Backbone, and Muddy Creek, and just doing a loop, going up and down the steep rounded hills in his race car. He goes, "You gotta take pictures of the street signs, the intersection of
Yeah.
Muddy Creek, Ebenezer, and Devil's Backbone." Somebody had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Mark,
Bill,
aren't you going from like a store to store? I mean, aren't you mostly on interstate type of stuff?
what I do, Charlie, is um, I've got say 15 or so Bob truck drivers. They, the little 6-wheel Bob trucks got the refrigerator
Yeah.
box on it, and I'll meet them somewhere and offload their stuff to them, and then I may drive another hour, meet another one, offload his stuff to him. I may drive 2 more hours, offload his stuff to him, and then I may go do a warehouse toward the end. And then I run back, grab another load next morning, do the same thing.
I was just wondering why you're in them, little areas like that.
See, I hit a lot of grocery stores because my guys, a lot of them, they'll do one big order for one of their, say, like one of their big grocery stores gets a whole pallet of stuff. So I'll back in that store while he unloads it. And then when he gets that unloaded, then I'll meet up with him and butt the trucks up together and offload his stuff. So I go to a lot of grocery stores in that aspect. But other than that, they pretty much run like a 600-mile radius, and I deliver to them twice a week. Keep them stocked. We do it old school way. It's
Yeah.
hands on. You got more control, over things when you got a
Yeah.
guy there putting it on the shelf,
Right.
a little more control.
Yeah.
Oh, so Tom and us, what's the word? I don't know. Spring is here, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's here.
Spring is here, and it's time to feed, I guess. Or at least it is here for this week.
I saw the last few days the robins are showing up, so the migrating birds are starting to come in.
So they're eating your queens, right, Tom?
Not those. I have common oriole that comes in every year that loves to hang out by my beehives.
Yeah. So, Bill, did you say them were Latshaw F1s?
Yeah, old soul.
Are they VSH
Yep. They
at
have
all?
VHS tendencies. Yes.
So they're capping and uncapping, basically.
Yep.
Okay. Do they shrink up in the winter and real frugal, or do they brood heavy, like going into winter?
They'll brood up heavy going into winter so they can get through the winter. And when they come out, they're usually pretty strong.
Okay. But they're real frugal, right?
Oh, yeah. They're frugal.
Kind of like a Russian.
And yeah. Kind of like a Russian. But they don't have the Russian attitude, put it that way.
Yeah. Is he like single drone inseminating, or is he catching multiple drones and inseminating? How does he do that? He's just breeding a line of bees, right?
Yeah, he's breeding a line of bees. Now, the Latshaw Labs, they inseminate the breeders.
Right.
And depends on the time of the year. We have a closed breeding facility that it's a mosquito net. Is
Full
what
of
it
drones.
is.
Yeah.
Full of drones.
Okay.
And depending
So
upon time. We
He's
breed in
packing
that.
full of multiple drones. Then is what he's
Yep.
doing. Packing multiples. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's what I was wanting to know because it's the drones from them that I'm going to get the next year that I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah. Now, if you want some virgins that'll lay up good drones for you, I can send you some virgins too.
Well, we know virgins will make it. I'm not sure sales are going to make it. If you're going to pay shipping, you might as well do virgins.
Okay, I can do that too.
And I can send you virgins. That way we know
That way we know what we got.
we ain't just wasting money.
All right, let's do that then. Let's plan on that. I'll send you some virgins, and that way, if you want them to lay up drones for you, you can do that, or you can breed them.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put them in an out yard just for my own insanity. You
All right,
understand
guys,
what
I'm
I'm
gonna
talking
hop
about?
off.
Yeah.
All right, Tom.
All right,
Good
Tom.
night.
Good night. All right, everybody have a good one.
Yeah, you
Tom.
too.
Yeah, because it could get insane. You never know. You have to kind of feel things out.
Yep.
And I don't need no more mess.
You're
Not
right.
saying that you're nothing about yours, but when you breed two together, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you got to do a little experimentation here
Right.
and see, make sure it's what you want. You know what I mean?
It'll take a year to do that. See, and then I'll get to see what they're capable of too. Meanwhile.
Yep.
Everything's long term when it comes to breeding.
It is.
There's nothing short term about it.
Yep. So I sent some queens down to another location here in Virginia last year, and the person that got them, I guess she didn't like them, so I don't know how well they did for her. She never contacted me back to let me know what was going on with them.
Yeah.
So.
I had some repeat customers emailed me today wanting some nukes, and I really wasn't wanting to sell nukes this year, but it looks like I'm going to sell a few.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to keep my customers.
Yeah, you do.
Work too
You got to
hard to
keep your
get 'em.
customers happy.
Yep. Work too
So-
hard to get them, and keep them.
Yeah, you're right. You're
And
absolutely correct.
You'd be surprised the people that come back year after year after year after year and buy nukes from you.
Yep, you're
I
right.
never really give it that much thought, but they do.
Yeah,
They're loyal.
I get the same thing with packages, Mark. I get the same
Yeah.
people buying year after year after year.
That just tells her they ain't much beekeepers because they wouldn't have to buy all that.
I wasn't going to go there, Charlie.
I wouldn't either. Never talk about a customer.
Nope. Not publicly, anyway.
I just think maybe they're expanded. How's that?
Yep.
They're just expanded, getting bigger. Anyway, y'all, it's fixing to hit.
Yeah, it is.
Spare time is fixing to be non-existent.
Non-existence.
And I've got to order a seat for my zero-turn lawnmower. And they want as much for that seat as they do for the lawnmower.
You're kidding.
$1,000 for
Ugh.
a seat. I'm like, no. I can buy a knockoff for about $3. It's pitiful.
What was it?
Wow.
A seat
A
Is
seat?
it green? Is it green?
from my Kubota.
Oh, it's orange. No, there you go.
Yeah. They don't give them away, believe me.
No, they don't. They do not give them away. That's for
So
sure.
I told my wife she's gonna get a pillow with duct tape on it
Pillow with duct tape.
and be happy. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be here if I told my wife that.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out something because that
I'd be
seat is
out.
all to pieces.
I'd be out here strung up in one of these locust trees somewhere by my toes.
Trying to get the lawnmower ready because it's going to be mowing season too. Everything hits at once.
I'm trying to wait as long as I can before I start mowing grass.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you what, when I start mowing grass here, it's an all day job.
Yep. I get it. I got a pretty good sized yard too. Plus, I got that pipeline where I put most of my mating nukes out there on. I think this year, instead of setting any blocks out or anything, I've got a great big maple tree that blew over. I think I'm gonna take my tractor down there with a bucket on it, and I'm gonna cut that because it's in a trail. I got to cut it anyway, and I think I'm gonna cut me some chunks off of that maple tree and just roll them over in that bucket and carry them up there on the pipeline and flip them right out and set hives up on them.
Yeah. You could do
The
that.
easy way. I can kill two. I can do two jobs there, one lick. Just set them up on top of them stumps.
Yep.
That'll get the three ways to where I can work them and not have to bend over so bad.
Yeah.
I cut them knee high, about 20 inches, probably 22 inches.
Yeah.
Just set them three ways right up on there.
Yep.
I mow around them. Won't have to bend over.
There you
And
go.
when I'm done, just take the tractor and push them right off in the woods and done.
Yeah. Either that or split them and burn them.
Split them and burn them, either one. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what I'm going to do. If I can get my chainsaw going. What about you, Charlie? How's the wood business going?
It's flat.
Is it dead?
It's well, yeah. I got a little order in today for 14 boards, and that's about it. Mulch business picked up a little bit, and that's pretty much it. Over the weekend we had a lot of homeowner type lumber sales and stuff. A guy came in, I guess it was today. He's got picking up some lumber. He lives in the summertime. He lives in Wyoming, so they don't really have hardwood out there. So he's bought a pretty good sized little trailer full, take out there to mess with and stuff while he's out there. And all, he's about 30 minutes from Cody, Wyoming, I think it is, and about an hour and a half from Billings, Montana.
Do you still run flooring? You still doing that?
I can do that. I don't really, if it's some people like they were looking for something for a house. I'm like, look, just go to a company that over here in Baltimore, not too far from me, that's what they specialize in.
Yeah.
A lot of times I can use flooring where it's like, well, the tree came out of the backyard. We sawed it, we dried it, and then we process it into flooring so they can, as I call it, they got bragging rights. By the time they do all that, it's
Coulda
$12.
come out better. Yeah.
They got about $12 a square foot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But they got bragging rights.
Yeah.
So it costs money for that. So I don't know. Things are things are just people don't know what's going on. You know, things are going crazy, and people are just kind of laying low and see what's going on. Spring,
Yeah, I
and
get it.
I have a lot of walk-in traffic today. I think when the weather breaks like this, you know, and then people feel like getting out and wanting to do something because it's not cold, and hopefully that'll all kick in.
Well, most people don't have a whole lot of expenditure money right now. It's costs so much to live.
Yeah.
It's, everything's so high. Candy bars $3, $4. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
just-
Tom,
Damn, I remember you used to be able to buy a candy bar for a quarter.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Coca Cola was 15 cents.
Yeah.
I supply mulch to anybody that wants to come and get it. You know.
Yeah.
So, but I got some fine mulch, and then I call it chippy type mulch. It's more heavy particles in it. And I got some mulch that what it is, it's the bark that falls off the trees when they're getting half rotten.
Yeah.
And that it just when it goes through the grinder, it kind of pulverizes it almost to like sawdust, you might say, because it's so rotten. And that's real dark looking mulch, and it's more like a compost type of stuff, where the other stuff is
Rich.
more of a solid wood, you know, chip.
Yeah.
So,
You ever have that stuff catch on fire down in there? Them
now
piles.
I know that a lot of them do that problem with that, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't had any of that problem. We don't really, you know, try not to make too big of a pile and that kind of thing.
Well,
Night, Matt.
I know
And
guys carry their mash and they cover it up with that stuff, keep it warm, wear to work off.
now I got a bunch of stuff here now. I like to get rid of it. So anyway,
Well, I imagine you make more off of a truckload of that than you probably do lumber, don't you, as far as labor and all that goes?
I don't know. There's more labor in that mulch. I think, you know, there's diesel fuel and stuff, and
Right.
a lot of the lumber um I buy the lumber in and resell it and stuff. I mean, to pay, especially the dry lumber
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So, um, I don't know. It just um, gets to the point where you know you kind of know what your profit margin is with that. I can make more money there. You don't have so much processing, I guess you would call it. You're
Yeah.
sitting there burning a couple 100 gallons of diesel fuel, and you're grinding and all that stuff. And our problem right now, we got the darn Maryland environmental bunch on our backs about acid out of the wood going, you know, as far as water runoff, you know, and stuff,
Running off. Yeah.
all that bullshit, you know. And I think a lot of it is the fact that they're, see you, Nancy. Good night.
Night,
Uh,
Nancy.
it it's not from the piles, but they view it from the piles. So from
Right.
around the mill area, we've cleaned it all up um and you know, trying to satisfy them here for a little bit. And we bought a power brush, found one cheap, and so we're gonna try to, you know, brush up all the damn blacktop and
I
keep
don't
them.
see what that runoff would hurt.
I don't
Well,
either.
like they were saying, oh, it's going to reduce the oxygen in the water and this and that. And I'm like,
Well,
what?
we drink that stuff. They put alcohol in them barrels and leach that stuff out. People pay big money for that stuff.
Yeah,
That's
they
all
do.
that is. The same thing. I don't. People drinking it don't hurt them. I don't see what's bad about it.
Hmm.
by the time it gets to a body of water, it's done so many parts per billion, it ain't gonna do nothing.
That's right.
Because the ground's going to filter it all out anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they've been cutting lumber for centuries and centuries, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
what do they think's leaching out of these dumps? They're burning off the methane gas. What's leaching out of that? I'd rather drink that water coming out of that wood chip than I had water coming off of a dump.
Yeah.
And every big city's got them.
Yeah, they do. They have to have them.
Yeah. But you don't hear nothing about that. It's hush hush.
Good night, Tom.
I'm fixing to turn it in myself. I got to be in Little Rock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to recoup.
Well, everybody, it's after 10 o'clock. So I know a lot of people need to get up and go to bed. Get up and go to bed. Get up and go to work. Shows how tired I am tonight. So y'all have a good night. See you on Wednesday night at 6:30 with Nancy. Friday night at 8 o'clock with Charlie. And Tuesday night with Joey, right?
Oh, Bob.
Oh, Bob. Okay. And then Joey's Saturday night, right?
Joey's Saturday
Or
night. 8 p.m.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, y'all have a good evening, and we will see you next Monday night at 8 o'clock. Good night,
Bye,
Bob.
y'all.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye, y'all.